Well, here we are again at the castle, pulling second shift. I don't know if anybody's gonna show up tonight, but I got a little bit of a start on this the other day. It's proven it's not gonna be fun, but somebody's got to get it done. Let's go check it out. I'm here to tell you folks, that view never gets old. The higher you go, the better it gets, and we still aren't as high as what a person is when they're inside the top of the tower. Anyhow, what we're here to do this evening is to install the Jchannel and as much soffit on the octagon roof as we can. Now I state octagon roof because the top of the tower is an octagon. There are 8 walls, one of them just happens to be an opening. So we've got a short section, normal, 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 short section. I don't know if I said that exactly 8 times, but that gets you an understanding. The other evening, I got a start on this, and essentially, you can see the Jchannel against the rock on the tower there. I'm going to treat this when I go to do the soffit, the actual soffit portion, the material that goes flush with the bottom of the rafters. I guess that's a joist slash rafter at this point in time. It will be treated as individual roof systems. From here to there, that's a roof system. That soffit will run long ways all the way up. And the very last piece, we're probably going to have to cut at some interesting radiuses. However, the Jchannel on the actual, or against the actual castle, I've just flexed it around there and nailed it off to the bottom of the joist. However, I got over to this side, and I'm here to tell you, I couldn't figure out how to reach it last night. I think I have thought through it now, and I'm going to be able to reach it, but I think I'm going to have to lay on my back, right here where the nail box is, and lay down, get underneath the bar, get up in there, and tack it off. Now, if I'm treating this as individual roof lines, right here is my intersection point of that roof. But if you look on the bottom side, it's nothing but an opening. So, I believe I'm going to be okay because I'm going to be tacked off really close to the end on this rafter or joist, whatever you want to call them. And then I'll leave it a little long, cut it, and then transition that direction, and I think I'll be fine. Or if I nail it off there, flex that little tip back and nail it off there, split the difference on that joist or do a nice overlap, I can just put a shorty right there. The problem is I don't have anything to nail it off to in this corner. So as you can see, I have a bunch of scrap offcuts. I can screw me a nailer up there to get that on. So now I just gotta try it. I don't know how good of a view you guys are gonna have. We're gonna put you down here with us. We'll see what happens. Well, here goes nothing. Hope I don't dump everything out of my tool belt. Oh, get flexible, Matt. Something I'm not. Oh, hi guys. Oh, let's see if we can reach that. I'll get you a good view of my position here in a minute, because what we're trying to do is lay this flat, get it back there, get it tacked off because I can cut it later. Oh, come on, go gadget arm. Oh, good thing it's warm. If it was cold, I'd have busted that Jchannel all kinds of crazy. And I'm pretty confident if I straight line that, show you guys with a tape measure here. Hopefully you can see this point. But if I straight line that, I'm pretty sure my intersection point, I got to go off of this point and that point for my straight line. I'm gonna go off of the backside. Yeah, so my intersection point is essentially just on the other side of that nail. So I believe if I just leave this a little long, trim this off, throw another piece over there, I think that'll make my intersection proper. And honestly, it really doesn't matter where the intersection is as long as I'm on this as close to that face as I can get. But I do not have a nailer up in that corner, so I'm gonna have to get in between the basket and the roof, trim the top of this Jchannel off. Ryan ran it a little long when he put it on there, and that's fine. Trim it off so that my fascia or Soffit J goes over top of that, comes out to here, goes back and over. So this piece is going to be kind of custom, but I got to get my nailer on there first. Oh, and I told you guys I'd show you the view. Sometimes this is what it takes in the man lift to get the job done. Nope, this job ain't for everybody, which is why I'm sure most of the contractors I asked if they wanted to be involved said absolutely not, you're crazy, because I am. No, I'm not taking a nap on the job, but it is a pretty comfortable position. I'm trying to trim this Jchannel off, and I got to work over my shoulder backwards and upside down. Actually, it might be better. Yeah. Let's take our square. Nope. That one, well, that'll fit that way. Line her up with our board here. Confirm, I'm pretty sure that's a 1/2 inch. And that's what says it's 3/4. I'll cut it a little high. So we got to make sure our Jchannel touches here but goes over top of that Jchannel there, which I don't even know if you guys can see that. Okay. Take our razor knife, finish that inside cut. Come on now. Ah! Nailed it! Now let's get us a dimension here. Straight back, over top, all the fun-loving stuff. Our Jchannel needs to be 5.5 there. Then we'll make an angle cut. Again, I'm pretty sure it's right off of that nail head, so we'll give ourselves a little bit of overlap. Not much, because that nail head's gonna be a pain. So we're gonna go, and actually I'm starting to believe if I just trim it here, give myself enough overlap, double tack it there, I think I'll be okay. So we got our original 5. Let's go 18. Oh, 18 on that one. Again, we got to get our nailer up here first. Plus 18's 23.5. All right, now let's get us a couple of screws started for our nailer. And this is just to give us a section to nail off to against the rock face, because our rafter is too far back for that. And yes, height matters. Glad I said that to myself. I have not performed this yet. Come on, get in there. I'm hitting my flashing is my problem. I bet you that second screw I can't even drive. Come on now. Don't be a punk. Okay. Now we have that. So now we need to take our short piece, make it shorter. After hours emails, gotta love them. All right. Oh, Matthew Parr. I cut that darn thing at 18 inches because that's the last dimension that was in my head. It needs to be 23.5. You watch, I'll be 18 inches short of Jchannel to getting it done. That's how it always works. I cut it straight and then clip a 45. Yep. So we're not going to cut the back side. We're going to cut the back face and the front face, but not this piece, because ultimately what we want it to do, I'll show you here in just a second. Clip us a 45 on here. Hopefully that's the right angle, we're guessing. Ultimately what we want this piece to do is flex like that, and then you can tuck it in, and that makes a really nice 90-degree corner, and it covers up your cut. I know I'm not a 90-degree corner, so we got to get close. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, baby. That tucked right up on there now. All right, so I'm liking the looks of that. Should be able to tuck this one right inside there, and I know you guys can't see much of that. But if I put you down here, you're not going to be able to see anything that I'm actually doing over here, but I'm trying to overlap this. Got me a mark on this Jchannel here. Well, at least I thought I did. There it is. So if I cut that off all the way to that point, it should slide right up inside there. And I'll show you guys my cut here in just a second. This is not going to be a pretty cut because I don't have my long nose snips. Lucas walked off with them last night, but I notched that piece. Yeah, that's fugly, but that should allow me to tuck it right inside of that one. Looks like I need to cut that just a hair deeper. Now, the reason I'm trying to shove it back in there because I want that joint to be tight, but I'll also need it, every bit of it, to be nailable. So I'm gonna get a nail here, a nail here, and a nail there. I think that's gonna work out. And normally you would not nail this stuff tight, but the reason you don't nail it tight is because it's just like vinyl siding. I don't know if you guys can see me getting that nail in there. Gotta use my hammer wrong. I have to trim that a little bit so it doesn't hold my fascia out. There we go. Get a nail on this back side here and that won't move anymore. This is where a palm nailer would probably come in handy. Getting ready to bend it. Don't do that, Matt. Again, I'm only nailing this tight because it's compressed into this corner. You normally want this stuff to move, but if it wrinkles a little bit in this 5.5 inches, I'm not worried about that. If you all come here and rent this place and you stand down there on that gravel and see that 5.5 inches, I'm gonna tell you, good for you. Because you're not the one laying on your back. Oh, come on now, let's get that in there. Kind of nailing blind there. Of course, that nail blew out the side, so essentially that's useless. So now I gotta nail it right through the vinyl. Okay, now I should be able to shove my Soffit right up in there, tuck into the back side, run it all the way, and that'll hide the offcut, because I guarantee you we're not going to be able to cut this perfect with this rock face. And if you look down through there, you can kind of see how much pressure is on that rock face when I bow it around there. So it's got it tilted up just a little bit, but I did test it whatever evening that was. I can flex that back down. So if that puts just a little bit of pressure on my Soffit, I'm not worried about it. So that gets us all the way to our outside corner. Our Soffit will run flush with this face, and then our fascia will come down and cap over top of the 1/2 inch Soffit. Okay, I'm pretty confident you guys can see that. So what we have here is 2 pieces of Jchannel back to back into our inside Jchannel. Hopefully you can see that here. That's what captures it. You can see it flexed it down nice and straight, so I know that my Soffit's going to do the same thing. And I'm going to be able to nail it off back here, and all I have to do is center up my joint on my intersection point to then get me a nail location for this one. Tack this side off. Don't lose that. That piece is cut perfectly. I don't care about that nail. I have more of those. Yes, I'm gonna have to trim this front face off. I'll show you guys that here in a second, because I did not cut the exact angle needed. I squared it off knowing I can clip it off with my razor knife. Okay, now and get myself over here where I'm actually supposed to be. Right there. Sneak ourselves a nail in right back here. Take our second piece. Oops, put it in there correctly, Matt, and it works better that way. There we go. Get it shoved back where it belongs. we know for a fact we can nail it off right here. Come on, baby. Ah, come on now. Boy, you talk about being a contortionist. Not hit yourself in the head with the hammer. Ah, there's that one. Get our end one in here. Ow, that's your finger. Ding dong. Okay, now I don't have a nailer on that back side, but I'm here to tell you, those two pieces of Jchannel should not go anywhere. So what do? That ain't going anywhere. So on this corner, which is going to be the long run to the piece of Jchannel that faced this way, this board is actually right in line with the intersection point. But as you can tell, a board has been sistered to it, so this board sticks a little lower. So we need to get a sister board back here, which is this board, and then we need to shim this down, because when you take your Jchannel and you put two of them on here and you line it up with that intersection point, it's right on the edge. So then when you take your other one, it's going to be nailed here. So I got to have myself a nailer back here to make sure that this doesn't just flop around. I could try to stake it to that piece, but man, that's going to be a difficult piece to get to. So I think it's going to be more simple to throw us a nailer on here. Missed. And then we're going to have to figure out our shim thickness. Looks like we're a 1/2 inch there and a 1/2 inch there. So instead of running at full length, I'm just going to give me a couple. That's 1/2 inch thickness. That's 1/2 inch thickness. So as long as I get me a nailer point here, I can go here, and then that piece will be rigid enough. Now we have us a good nailer here. Now we get our dimension. We need to be 44 1/4. And again, I'm just going to make this a square cut instead of trying to cut those 22 1/2. What did I say that was? There I went and said 22 1/2 and made myself forget. 44 1/4. Oh, someone wants to talk to me. I'll be right back. So before we can put our two pieces of J here that are back to back, I've got to extend this piece of J over around the line height is what they call it. That's where all the HVAC lines go for the mini split heads. All right, we've got our first piece cut for our inside corner. We need to trim this lock back. This is creating our notch for our overlap. And even though no one will ever see this up here, I like to do my overlaps, if you guys can see this, to where the piece that the visual is from, the overlap goes over top of the other one so that it hides your seam a little better. And it does make it a little bit more challenging to install when you've already got the piece on that goes inside instead of the piece on that goes outside. And you guys can see how that works right there. That finger that I trimmed that off of stays right there on the inside, and those two pieces line up exceptionally well. Now you can see how I've got to flex this around the building here. Once we get this nailed off, it'll hold that piece nice and rigid. Get back there, darn it. And I left that long because I'll trim that off here in a minute. As you can see, I didn't nail this one tight because it's going to need to move some. Not a lot, but some. Nailing right up against this rock sucks. Makes you bend your nails. Use my punch here, maybe that'll help a little bit. One more on this end and we'll have this piece in there other than the front piece, and we don't have to do that yet. I'll come back over here and run my double J that I've already got cut. Now we've got two spots we can put Soffit. Well, blister number 2 decided to show up. I'm sure you guys see him there in the background. Everybody tells Lucas hi.
Yeah. Blister number 2.
Blister number 2. So I explained it earlier to you guys that I try to keep this as much of a whole piece as possible so that one supports the other. Well, when you've got these outside corners, it's really hard because when you fold it out, you end up with a big old gap. So what I like to do is cut 45s on these back to the item that we're sealing against, I guess would be the best way to put it. Sometimes it's a little difficult. I probably should have just took the dimension and made it easier on myself, but you know, I like the hard way. And then I take me a little cap piece and I leave the wings on it because I really don't like, if I was, you know, working off of an 8-foot ladder, I would probably go ahead and use the other way, which would be pop rivets. But we are way higher than 8 feet off the ground. So what I'm going to do is use through the roof, and I'm going to essentially glue this little piece to their trim. Yes, their trim's got to come off at some point in time, but I could just stick a razor knife up in there and cut it if this ever needed to be serviced. Or they could just take out the bottom screws and flex it out to do their servicing. So we're going to glue it to this face. The reason I don't like pop rivets is because then it makes it really hard to get your soffit in there. And again, if I was closer to the ground, I wouldn't mind it. I'm hoping I never have to get up here and do anything again. And if I'm being completely honest, that's the goal.
I might be a blister, but at least I ain't a chicken.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna hold it here for a minute. I could have left my top tab a little longer and got one nail in it, but knowing that I'm gluing it to their line hide, it really doesn't matter. Just like that, she's stuck like Chuck. Now all we gotta do is show Lucas the process. He's never done this before. I've never done this before on a castle. I've done it before on straight, square, and, you know, items that aren't wacky. We're flexing this sucker, Lucas. That's what we're doing.
Flex a lot.
Yep, and it makes it kind of interestingly shaped, but
it's gonna get the job done.
That's gonna tuck right in there. Now, you've got these great big protrusions. You can't get it all the way back flush, and I'm not gonna face all this rock. Just not gonna do it. Now, as stated before, if it was cold and I hit that like that, we'd have been taking this whole piece back down. I told them earlier on camera.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
I didn't tell you yet.
Okay. I'll get me some proper nails. I don't think those.
Yeah, y'all should have heard him. Do I need my tool belt?
yeah. I got a gutter guy coming. I thought I was gonna luck out and just do the talking today, but no.
Not the case around here, big boy.
That's alright.
You're going to have to push that in for me.
Blisters don't get that lucky, do they?
No, they don't. Push in, get it to the foam, and then I'll nail it off here on this triple.
Right there, Captain. That's a tricky one, right?
Yep, it's real tricky. And think about it, we got to cut our soffit to match this wonky. Yeah, buddy.
And you got a mouse in your pocket?
You
or
got
something?
a mouse in your pocket. Well, put your purse down, Lucas.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when I put my purse down.
You bend it.
My accuracy goes away.
742 hits later, we'll be there. Wait, hold on, let me show you something. Sticker.
Sweet. All right.
Don't you hit my finger.
Oh, I'm going to try to.
I can see this. Finger on home. Oh,
Yeah.
right at the
That
end.
just.
You got my cat's claw still?
Yeah.
Take your hammer and drive the cat's claw in there, this end, and then do the exact same thing. Don't hit my face. It's too pretty for that. Don't be scared of it. Put your purse down. All right, hold on. Now go.
There we go. All right. Let's see if I can't mess it up for a third time. You want
Do
me to
it.
hit the-
Do it.
Sure?
Just don't hit me.
Yeah. I can get it.
Here. Here. You'll like me for this. Oh my God. What are we gonna do with you?
The day. It's toasted. We need a new one.
Drive me in there. Well, at least you gave yourself a hole to go into, I guess. Second time. We do it right because we do it twice.
Right.
Stick your nail in there and then I'll get my fingers out of the way. Give me 2 nails, Dad. I'll make it work. All right.
I got her.
We got to move ourselves that way to nail that off just a little bit more, and we'll be able to reach this point right here to get our double J in. And I know you, so I understand that it's true. All right, we got repositioned. I'm trying to get you guys a good view of the river so you can see that barge go by and watch us work. You know why I missed twice? Lightning never strikes the same spot twice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh man, I don't know if that one's gonna bend. We might have to cut that and start over with a new piece and just do an overlap. So I think that's gonna make it really sucky. I'll lay it back. See the big old gap it makes?
Yeah.
Can you guys see that big old gap right there? I can stick my finger in there. That's why outside corners you can do this. So we can run a piece straight across and let it overlap.
So we're just gonna cut it off.
We're gonna cut her all the way. And we won't nail it, or it'll be really hard to get a splice against that later.
I was wondering why you weren't now.
So now what we'll do is we'll pull back up a little bit so that we can put this double on, and then we've got a whole nother section ready for Soffit. And we might have enough time to get another piece started around here and get another section on. So now we got to move again. I figured it out by not having it.
Oh. You want me to hold it?
I mean, if you want to, honey.
Got it.
So this is the double J for our intersection point. We'll nail off this front side, and then we're going to figure out where we need a nailer. Start us a couple of screws. If I can get the screws. Fine, don't open it. I have my own screws. Good old Go-Go Gadget arms here.
I can hold it up there.
Right there. Oh man, that's gonna suck.
Who put that extension on there?
It's the only one I got right now.
Sorry, I could have done a better job holding it coming out.
You did all right. Phew! That sucked. But it's done. Put one more nail here. Can you reach that far inside corner or not? Don't do anything stupid.
It's gonna be close.
Got faith in you.
I think I can reach it. The question is, can I hammer it in?
Well, we already know you can't hammer it in.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Matt.
Okay. I can't get us in any closer where we're at, but I have a trick up my sleeve. Abracadabra. How about them out there?
Hey.
While you're hammering that one in with your purse,
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and work on this one.
you do that.
I'm going to, whether you like it or not. See how we talk to each other? Ha!
There goes.
Told you you couldn't hammer it in.
Wait, the second one's my charm, remember?
Yeah. Always takes Lucas 2 nails. Oh gonna suck. I'm gonna let you nail that inside one, and then I'll do some fabrication out here because the joist actually sticks below the fascia board, and we're just gonna let our fascia hang long to come down and not worry about that little bit of a gap. So I gotta actually buff this down, hopefully 1.5 inches. So why don't you go ahead and sneak a nail, as many nails as you can in through here somewhere, at least 2 more. Please be 1.5 inches. Of course not. It's only 1 inch. Lovely. Oh well, we'll rip 1 inch off of this board, and then we'll put it here and here, and then I'll bring that down. Got our shims in there. I'm gonna nail off these 2 outsides, and we're gonna call it because we have a gutter guy here that's gonna look at the gutters, and we need to go talk to him. When I say gonna look at the gutters, I mean the gutters that aren't here. He's gonna look at installing gutters. You talk about a get it done attitude. We're struggling with my pump. So this castle is on a 100-year well. Free water, drinkable water, great water. But the top of my wellhead, you have your pressure regulator, pressure switch, whatever you want to call it. So essentially, if there is no pressure, the springs push it over, makes contact, makes the pump run. When there's pressure, it compresses the springs and it opens it up, pump shuts off. Well, it keeps popping a breaker, and this thing is probably from the 1950s, so it's probably due to be replaced. But Lucas, since we don't have water at the castle right this second, the soffit that you see here that we're installing, some of the pieces got dirty from where they were stored. So he's down there in the river. You can see his white truck, and he's right there off to the left-hand side of the truck, washing the soffit so that we can get it installed. That's a can-do attitude right there. I'm proud of him. You guys definitely got to go check out Blue Collar Works, YouTube and TikTok. Well, it is time to start throwing on the soffit, and you can already tell from the very first piece how interesting this is going to be. I'm going to get this first piece installed. I'm started on the second to the hardest corner. This little bitty triangle here needs to be done, and then there'll be long pieces here. But this is the harder work, where you got to lay on your back on the roof, so you can't have a tool belt on, so you got to constantly turn over and reach for your tools and yada 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 yada. But let's install this piece. Hopefully I cut it right the first time. Looks like we're a little tight. Need to knock probably darn near 1 inch off of it. And I did cut it big. Yeah. Hopefully I can do this laying on my back. Fit number 3. Look at that beauty. That right there is what we were looking for. And again, this is just like siding. You get it snug, but you do not nail it tight. All right, that piece is nailed off in there really nicely. Now we just measure our next one, get her cut. Put her in. Number 2. Well, gee whiz, Matt. Do you even know what you're doing? I mean, that's completely... Oh, Lucas is on the struggle bus over there in his 2-wheel drive truck. Like any other 19-year-old kid, just give her more throttle. More throttle. What are you doing, Lucas? That old one-wheel wonder don't like grass, does it? It Are you saying bring the tractor over?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go save Lucas before he ends up in the river. So is this NY Millennial Recovery Service now? Lucas is gonna throw a strap on her and we're just gonna back him out of here nice and easy. That's the strap we're relying on? Oh my goodness. Dude, that's like a 500-pound strap. You know what? That's fine. You use your strap.
We'll get it out.
Yeah, okay. I'll just come around behind you and put my front end loader on your bumper and push you out. I'll just put my front end loader on your bumper and push you out. Let's see if your strap will work. I don't want to fold up your back bumper. Let's try the strap. Oh boy, this thing was built in the 90s. Telling you, I'm gonna screw it up. Yeah, don't hurt the Soffit. He didn't make it very far. When in doubt, throttle out. Sideways, I'd have you out by now. I can get you a little closer. You ain't gonna make it all the way out by yourself. Well, I have never put Soffit around a round tower before. So what I'm hoping to do here is take my profiler and run it along here. My issue is I really don't want to cut that much meat out of this. However, I know I have to cut bare minimum 6 inches out of it. So from that point to my pencil is 5 1/4. It leaves me just a little bit of fat, just in case there's a spot that didn't need to be cut so much. We're gonna take this profiler we're gonna profile this thing. Oh, the only pencil I had just went down the roof. So now we've got a profile on there. We're gonna hand cut that profile. I held it up here with 2 nails, and I got the same distance off of both sides, 6 and 6. So now once we cut that profile, I should be able to just slide her in there, and then any odd area that I cut too much or a little bit, we've always got this 3/4 of an inch of coverage here to hide some of that. So we're gonna pull these 2 nails out, cut that sucker, and see if she fits. Moment of truth. Well, this piece was long enough for them inside corners, but I don't know if it's going to be long enough on these outside corners. I might have just created myself a template. And this was an off-fall piece from earlier. I was like, oh man, that might work out, but I think I've got to go in. I don't know, it's going to be close. So now, oh yeah, I don't have a pencil. Crap. All right, I'm going to have to go down. Well, we got us a longer piece and we recut our radius. It's really hard to measure point to point because those 2 angles aren't exactly the same because the original framing was not perfect. So cross our fingers, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I may have to manipulate it a little more. Oh, wait a minute. No way. Oh, I got it. Heck yeah, we got it. Nice. That makes it handy. Now the thing I've got to confirm, I'm going to go ahead and nail it off, but I need to confirm I'm square to my face. Not this face, that fascia face. Over there. I am only a 1/2 inch different. I'm gonna live with that. What as crazy as this castle is, that right there probably gets the 1/2 inch out of it, but then I pop out on that side. So we're gonna leave it right there where it's at. Yes, that is a 1/2 inch out of square, which is more than I like, but I'd legitimately have to cut a whole new piece. Plenty of, got about a 1/4 inch of play on both ends, roughly, maybe closer to a 1/2. So this should work out pretty good. Missed it by that much. That's an old hardboard. Been seasoned for a little while. Oh, goodness. All right, now our next one, we don't have to do any of the crazy radius cut. Now we can take a point to point because we have the 2 points guaranteed established, and then I can measure up 13.5 inches because that's the overall width. Get me a mark, because I actually have a point that I can pull from without needing to assume a radius. So we pull some dimensions, get a piece cut, and we'll install it. Well, you all didn't get to see me to fit it. I forgot to turn you on, but we got her in there. It wasn't easy, but we got it. I think one more piece will get us all the way out to the end, which will be nice. is that one's nailed off. So we've got that small triangle closest to the castle done. Now we've got this one piece away from being done. Let's see. Oh yeah, 13.5, which is the width of these. Width going from here to here. It's 13.5, and when I hook that, we're sitting right at 13. You guys were out there in the sun and the old GoPro doesn't like it. I wanted to show you, since this is one of my angle cuts from earlier, I get my long point dimension or my short point dimension, it doesn't matter. I put a tick mark on the soffit, line up my angle that I know is proper, and I use it as my long point, short point pattern. Now, we'll cut it and see if it fits. The sun helps the vinyl cut better, but it sure doesn't help the GoPro work very well. Said you guys were too hot. So you see I just cut that off. That was from the previous angle that's already installed, so we know we can use that as a pattern also. The basket's getting full of cut pieces. Now hopefully you guys don't get too hot over here again, but stick you out here so you can hopefully see all of it. And yes, this piece is going to be too deep. The goal is that it's not too short. Tell you what, that one highly aggravated me because I took exact dimensions and it's too short. I can use it somewhere else, but I'm going to end the video on that note to say a few words to myself. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on, and share away.